Welcome to the Good Talk, where we recap the game that we just played and answer all your burning questions, Warhammer and otherwise. So, we had just an amazing game, which you and I did not play, Bridger.
That is true.
How about this game a shot? Let's invite someone else into the studio, shall we?
We didn't think that through, did we?
I mean, I can sit in the middle.
No, it's fine.
Okay. I just wanted the golden throne.
Yeah, so we have a brand new setup here in the studio. We have, obviously, our lovely sign. I'm still trying to convince these guys to start like a hipster bar.
It's nice. I'm into it.
A coffee bar.
I think, well, all right. I was
Coffee
on the
otherwise.
soft drink machine train already.
We all are thinking of different
If
things.
you want to put in like an espresso machine,
Yeah.
like I feel like behind the golden throne we could put a soft drink machine.
Yeah.
Right to your left we could put like
keg.
a cute little, well, I mean,
Agent's like,
I was
"Hey."
going to say an espresso machine, but if you want a keg, it's your drink machine.
They're
It's up
not
to you.
mutually exclusive, I'm just saying.
Oh, your coffee stouts.
Coffee stouts, man.
But yeah, I mean, I think we could spruce this place up. This is not the final evolution of this.
Oh,
studio.
we are constantly upgrading things. So we've done a bunch of redesigns in the studio. It's going to make it easier for us to answer your questions, easier to switch over from the other stream. And of course, a lot of this is connected to the construction we've been doing for our new hobby stream, which we had the premiere of yesterday. And it's going to be essentially every Wednesday from now until infinity, or until at least we break Zach's back. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But anyways, thank you so much for joining us.
I am sad that we don't have Q&A outfits like you guys have hobby outfits. The aprons are...
Very good. Thank you. I did encourage Zach. I said we should just wear the aprons and nothing else, but he didn't feel comfortable with that.
No.
It's too serial killery.
I mean, that's one way to go with it. That's one way to go with it.
Fair enough. So we just played a really great game. We played our first real game. We've been trying to learn this new Battletome that just came out. Mel and I, of course, play a lot, but we hadn't played with this specific book, which has changed a lot, of course. Just came out last Saturday. The Soulblight Gravelords. I really like this army. I actually like it more after having just lost to it, just brutally lost to it with it. And I'm really inspired to learn more about it and play it more. What a game. What are your thoughts overall?
Yeah, so honestly, it was like a slow burn and then just a descent into your abyss.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Right? So I didn't know I had it until I had it. But it was a good game. I was good. What's your MVP?
My MVP? Gosh, it's the skeletons in the middle.
The skeletons,
Oh, yeah.
The skeletons that would not die.
They're amazing.
Oh, my greatest enemy was those skeletons.
And I'll be honest, I did not fully realize the combo until literally earlier this day where, so here's the thing. I walked into that game knowing I was playing an old-fashioned version of this army, right? Yeah. The old-fashioned version of this army was kind of like an upside-down pyramid. It was like the black pyramid of Nagash, but it's upside down. And it's tons of big characters. You want to put everything into them. A few big blocks of infantry. They could be skeletons. They could be even Night Haunt, right? And you would just bring them back to life continuously and just make them never die. And even when they do, you would bring the whole unit back. Nowadays, I'd say the ideal build is more inverted, or even more of like a square, in the sense that you actually want to have a balance between your characters and your infantry. As you're giving these buffs out, you can only return really 3 plus D3 to each unit if you're using a spell. And I think it's a much healthier way to play. And so anyways, this whole thing, all this to say, I had an old-fashioned version of the list. And I played with some classics that I just love, like the Necromancer that has the Dance Macabre with the double fight. And the double fight has always been good, but it's been good because previously the way the skeletons work, where they were +1 attack for every additional 10 skeletons you had. So the 40 skeletons I played today used to be 1 unit. Where you get +3 attacks on every skeleton, and then they double fight.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Pretty goofy.
Which is super goofy. The way it works now, though, is every time you fight, you get a chance to basically reanimate guys that died that phase. So the double fight does weird, cool reanimation kind of stuff, and I like it so much better. So my MVP is the middle unit, but also the Necromancer for just being that catalyst and being just kind of this exciting holdout point in the middle of the battlefield as you kind of trampled everything else. Do you have an MVP for you?
The turtle.
The turtle!
The turtle came and showed up and just flipped those flippers into your face.
He was so good.
Oh, I mean, had he not taken out your monster, right? That would have been
Vampire Lord turn 1.
That would have been a whole nother thing. It made me so I could move those eels into the center, which allowed me to move the Leviathan. Easily my MVP, which is so great because that's my favorite model.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's my absolute favorite model. It's the model that got me into this army. And for a really long time, he was like my disappointing child.
He was the thing that was holding the army back.
Right, and I had to take him because I refused not to.
Right.
And it was always like this conversation. He's like, don't bring him. I'm bringing my turtle. So yeah, it was so nice to see him just like in your face.
He was so good. He hits like a truck. He's really hard to kill. And he brings that amazing buff with the +1 to your saves. And we both, I think, felt it the moments when you didn't have it, right? And just
When
to be
I
clear,
actually had to hit on 4s.
I know, it was tragic. Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Because he used to give cover in a bubble. And like, your army has so much cover already. You can have it. You have it first turn. You have it when you're next to your ships. It's like, cool, I don't really care. And then for some reason, well, I understand why, because the turtle was bad. But they switched it to just be +1 save. So now you can be in cover and get a +1 save. Combine it with these guys being unrendable. Woo, that's brutal.
It's real good.
He's for sure MVP, absolutely. But you also, you played well, you played smart, you resisted putting the Eidolon in and the Volturnos in.
It feels so wrong.
Yeah,
Right? When I have these like huge point models and they're just, my Tidecaster chilled in the back.
Yeah.
My Volturnos never attacked.
Yeah.
Neither did my Eidolon.
Yeah, but you use them to kind of maneuver these 3
Yeah.
big blocks of eels, and that's the way to do it,
Ugh,
honestly.
the eels. The eels are, I'm going to say, either underpriced or they have too many wounds.
I mean, I think just across the board, all their stats, like the number of different profiles that they
Yeah.
have a ton of attacks on,
Yeah.
and they're unrendable, like all the buffs you can stack on them,
Yeah.
and the 4 wounds.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's too much.
You can see why I take all. Everyone's like, why don't you have it? I'm like, just eels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All eels. I have more eels, I found out.
Yeah, you actually have more. I'd be curious. We should try at some point the other style of playing these kinds of eels, which is actually you go minimum squads, all 3 mans.
All 3 squads.
Gives
yeah.
you different flexibilities, but the cool thing, like the cool and messed up thing about the army is, normally when you split up units, it means you're losing your buffs, but all your buffs are bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this could be, all like the 6 squads of eels
eel
all fully
apocalypse.
buffed up. Yeah, and that lets you play in a different style. But just really cool. Again, I really like this army. What did you think about this? First time that you've played this?
So, I think bringing back the skeletons is great. I didn't get much from Neferata, because that was annoying. But I
Are you
don't.
trying to say something nice?
Yeah, those things were great. It's just like the Chariot of Death,
Yeah.
and then your Christmas Vampire.
She sounds unimpressed, Adrian.
I know.
I sound unimpressed mainly because remember
are, I
we
think.
played that one army where too many nipples on the model and then just
Oh, I was playing Hedonites.
yes.
Yeah.
That one destroyed me.
Yeah.
And so you have the ability, and I don't know, I feel like you would have to do some work on that one to.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, like I said, I knew I was bringing an old-fashioned list, but I think the changes I would make are not the changes I expected going in, to be honest. Because I was like, I need way less characters. I don't think I need less characters. I think I need smaller characters.
Yeah.
We knew the Bloodseeker Planquin was bad. The Coven Throne is the most interesting. But even then, it's still like a big, kind of expensive model that gives like so-so buffs.
Yeah.
So, swapping that for some other cheap caster and more skeletons. Like, honestly, I want more skeletons. The Black Knights, they suck.
No.
I can take them as battle line, which is cool because I got to play my old Tomb King cavalry, but they did literally
They
nothing.
were wah, wah, wah. They got you that point the first turn.
Did they? They
Yeah.
stood in a spot.
They did. They stood in the
all
spot.
they
Yeah.
did.
They did
Well,
that.
they were a unit, Adrian.
They were so bad. So I would definitely drop them for just more skeletons.
You can be the king of the skeletons,
Yeah.
and I can be the mother of eels.
Well, there you go. Exactly. Well, that was another reason I played Legion of Blood for the first game with this book on stream because I love Legion of Blood. I love Neferata, and their thing is skeletons. Like they don't do zombies and stuff like that. And so again, kind of coming from my old Tomb King. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this army in a way I haven't been for a long time because it was kind of either not very exciting to play or very oppressive for other people.
Right.
And I think the new one is much more interactive for everybody.
Yeah.
So, anyways, enough about that. Of course, if you guys have questions about the game, feel free to ask us. But that's a bit of our recap. Let's dive in. 2 questions.
Yeah.
We also once again want to thank Mr. Cobra Commander for sending us these delicious cupcakes.
Cupcakes are my favorite thing, and Adrian has strong feelings about that. But I
I do.
I love cupcakes so much.
They're
They
great, so
make me
thank you.
so happy. I have a 7-hour drive to do tomorrow, and I think I'm just gonna bring an egregious amount of those cupcakes, and like no one will know.
Yeah. They're gonna know.
No, it's just gonna be me in the car in silence, and it's gonna be amazing. Just me and my cupcakes. That's as I travel down the coast.
That sounds amazing. I'll miss you. I'm gonna play a bunch of Warhammer on Sunday though for my Memorial Day. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm gonna veg out.
You should veg
I'm
out.
gonna do pretty much nothing.
Wow.
For the entire weekend.
Yes.
It's gonna be.
We're always trying to get Bridger to take vacations.
This is a big deal, guys.
I'm like not kidding. My boss is making me take a vacation,
You
and
workaholic.
everybody's trying to tell me like, oh, go somewhere, like do something fun.
No, because
And I'm
that's
like,
work. That's effort.
Staycation.
I'd rather just put on a
Staycation.
VR headset and disappear for a week.
Yeah.
You know.
Just relax.
Oh, and I'm gonna get Blue Apron. I'm actually gonna cook for a week.
Oh.
Right? Pretty
Nice.
exciting.
We like
Wait, I
Home
have-
Chef personally.
Yeah.
Home Chef's better than Blue Apron.
Home Chef.
Home
Yeah.
Chef.
Home
Well,
Chef.
I mean,
And-
if either of these companies want to sponsor us, I'm open.
No.
So we have used. So I am super into subscriptions.
Like, let me tell you.
So into it, like all of them, any of them. So I've done all the cooking I'm like, yes, this is the thing I know the most about. I could have a channel on this. There's so many channels on this. Okay, I'm calming down. So I've done all of them, and I would say Home Chef is the best. And before you get it, let me send you a referral because you'll get free meals, and then we'll get free meals.
Oh, okay.
There you
So,
go.
Yeah, send me a
but we
referral
try.
code.
So Blue Apron's hard because they send you everything in a box,
Mm-hmm.
and none of the ingredients are separated by bags.
Not sorted.
So you have to start sorting them, and you end up using more than you should.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, we found the instructions a little bit more complicated, whereas
Okay.
Home Chef was very specific.
I am bad at cooking, so.
So I'm
the
going to
point.
recommend Home Chef for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Send me that referral code,
There
and
you go.
Got
I'll
you.
give it a shot. Because really, the reason I don't cook is I don't have time
Yeah.
Exactly.
with this whole 2 full-time jobs thing.
I
You
get
should,
it.
you should try Thistle.
Well, yeah. Let's,
We'll get
Thistle.
So Thistle, it's only in San Francisco, and they send you like fresh, generally vegan, but you can add meat if you actually wanted to, like lunches and dinners, and I really like them.
Is
And they're
it
all prepared, but it's not frozen.
It's very.
in any way? No, hold on. I did.
It's not. It's not that one.
Are you talking about Freshly, the one you microwave?
Yes.
Yeah.
Freshly
It's not freshly.
was just more expensive frozen food.
Yeah.
No, this is
no.
entirely
This is
fresh.
actually fresh.
Okay.
Very
It's,
healthy.
it's a little salady, but
Yeah, so you can.
Okay. All right.
you
But
get to
it's-
pick. So
It's,
Alright.
it's
Thistle.
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 I'll send you a bunch of things. I got you.
there you
You.
go.
I feel like we're a podcast now. We've graduated to podcast.
yeah.
Is that a graduation?
All right. Let's get some
all
questions,
right.
shall we?
Thank you, Plague of Shadows. Howdy, Titans. How do y'all feel about the new Ultimate Zombie Daddy, Lord Croak?
Lord Croak. You know, to be honest, I know his rules were revealed today. I haven't dug into them too much. Let me pull them up. In the meantime, you guys have seen the model. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
You don't remember the model? So that's the Toad Frog guy. The new one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That looks amazing.
What I really like about these new models that they're doing, like Bellicor, Croak, is like they're staying true to the original model. Like, I love a good Sigmar redesign as much as the next person, but there's also something to be said about just like a new amazing sculpt of a loved character.
They make them epic.
Well, and because they have so much more they can do now with what they're able to cast.
Right.
Like, it's
Exactly.
amazing.
Technology. Just keeps getting better.
Having trouble finding the article. It was revealed, right? I definitely saw the thing. Are we talking about a leak
I
now?
don't.
Ah!
I don't know. I don't.
Anyways, I'm not gonna be able to find it super easily, but I think it's awesome. I think it's great. Croak is such a cool character. I know he's much maligned in the gaming world for his ridiculous abilities, but I have faith that they'll work it out in the end.
They'll figure it out.
They will.
Thank you, Chronix Mel. Last time I caught you live, I paid $5 for an embarrassing Adrian story. First date with no plan.
Yeah.
Well, here's $7. Also, go Team Mel.
Woo!
Let's
And you don't
assume-
have to say anything.
Let's assume this is for another embarrassing story.
No.
Yeah. Can I tell the one that you know I want to tell?
No, I don't even know which one you're trying to say. Oh God.
College. Another first.
That's a pretty broad.
Um,
Another first. That could mean.
I was asleep.
Uh-oh.
Well, now you made it sound real bad.
I don't know like where this story's going.
I don't know which one we're talking about, so let's say no. Let's say no.
I would also veto this.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Given the knowledge
No.
I
I was like, I don't know. This sounds really creepy.
Okay, another embarrassing story of Adrian.
You can ruminate. We can come back to
Yeah,
this.
I'll interact.
It's so creepy. I was asleep.
No, you're
I don't
totally
think-
fine. It's
There is
totally
no
fine.
ending to that beginning that makes me comfortable
How do you
fine.
know
on this
that's
channel.
what I
It's
tried
fine.
to talk about?
Maybe he was also asleep.
No, he wasn't.
And then it's fine. Then it's wholesome.
There were other people in the room. It's totally
The
fine.
story is you were both sleeping.
We're both sleeping.
You can ruminate on it.
I'm gonna ruminate. You guys
think?
go to the next question. I'll interject once I have my answer.
All right, thank you.
It's $7. It has to be good.
7.
Seven.
Thank you, Daniel. Please. Oh, I goofed.
I have.
What'd
Wait.
you do?
First line is please don't read my name. Just call me Kyle. Well, thanks, Kyle.
What's up, Kyle?
Because I need to paint my minis. Your copious streams distracting me from painting.
Kyle, paint your minis.
Kyle, paint your minis. I have my story.
But that was very fast.
Hold on
Okay.
1 second. Kyle, paint your minis. All right.
Kyle.
Stop watching. Don't watch this content ever.
Paint. No, watch the hobby content and paint with us.
Oh, yeah. Paint along.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's hear it.
So, Adrian's 21st birthday was quite epic.
Yeah,
And so at one point, we brought out a cake. Yes.
Okay.
This is a good one.
This one's a good one, right?
Oh my
And
God.
so
Okay.
the cake is on fire with candles, as one would do pre-pandemic. And we go up to him. Of course, Adrian has removed his shirt at this time, because that is one of the stages of Adrian drinking, as he just removes his shirt.
Okay.
That could have been the very interesting story right there.
Nope.
but-
Nope. Then
Yeah, I think it
he
qualifies.
proceeds, so he's singing it to him. He proceeds to slam his face into the fire cake, which singed part of his eyebrow. No. Then he pulls his face out. There's cake on his face. And then he proceeds to walk around the party and demand we eat the cake off of his
This is
face.
very
So he just,
pre-COVID.
so he's just like, he's just sliding it off his face and then shoving it into everyone's mouth.
Now here's a question for you. How many years post-COVID is it acceptable to do that again?
Never. It's never acceptable ever again. This is only because he was turning 21. This is also after the first thing he did on his 20. I'm getting bang for your buck on this one.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So 21st birthday, and he immediately jumps into the pool with his phone.
It was my birthday
Oh,
party,
no.
and I cannonballed. I was like in the air, and like in the movies when you see the slow motion realization, it was literally I was like, oh no, and like try to reach into my hand, and I try to like throw the phone, and I'm like just about to get it out, and I hit the water, and
I had to lie to you all night. I was like, your phone's fine. Your phone's
it's
fine. Your phone's fine.
We did the rice thing, and then
You know, they say not to do that.
they do say not to do that, yeah. And then I slammed my face into a birthday cake later. I was like,
right.
you know, it'd be great, and then I just do it.
You have
It was more of the feet demanding. Like you were like, you have to. I am the birthday boy.
wow.
I
So
wanted to
imagine
share the
this-
cake with everyone.
This like shirtless Adrian covered in
Yeah.
cake.
It was a good time, man.
You have very eventful parties.
You should come to my party
I,
one time. Let me tell you.
21 was rough for him.
I'm far more mundane and boring than that.
Oh
That was a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was yeah. Thanks again, Plague of Shadows. He was just adding. It's gone forever. He
Well,
was
we're
just
done.
This
adding.
is the only super chats we get to. Sorry. If we have to scroll, it's good knowing you.
He was adding $2 to the 5 he previously added.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Because he forgot that we switched to 7. Thanks, man.
No worries. We appreciate it. Yeah, we know it's still a transition.
We're not hard and fast
good.
on it.
We're getting that a lot right now.
It was just like an attempt to go home before midnight. That's all it really was.
And it's
And
not working.
It was successful in some ways and less successful in others.
Yeah, it kind of helps.
It Yep. Yeah. Thank you, Caldorf. Hey, Titans. Nice to have Adrian and Mel on stream again with AOS. Adrian, what are your thoughts on the Cursed City detachment for Soulblight? What other units would you get to be, or would you get to a playable list? That's a weird word to say.
Yeah, no, totally. Let me look. So I don't, like I said, none of the battalions I was really crazy about. Was there one in that book? Because
It might be in the Cursed City book.
yeah, I haven't seen that.
The Cursed City book is in that room, right there, but I'm not getting up.
Okay.
And you're not getting up.
Okay.
And Mel, don't you dare get
Good
up.
to know.
None of us are getting up.
So I can speak more to, yeah, these battalions are just not amazing in the actual book itself. It's funny. Yeah, but the question about what I would add to get more to a playable list, we talked a little bit about it. We can expand upon it. Yeah, definitely more skeletons. I get rid of the Black Knights for just more skeletons.
Can you take Hex Wraiths?
No, that's when all that crossover is gone. Because
That's a bummer.
my old list usually was 40 skeletons in a block,
Yeah.
a unit of 20 Reapers, and then 2 units of like 10 or 20 chain gas.
Right.
Because they were kind of cheaper, better,
Yeah.
better than zombies for sure, right? Traditionally, it's skeletons hit harder, zombies are more survivable. So yeah, more skeletons. Some of these support characters are actually really good. Like one of the ones I was looking at, some of these Cursed City characters, for example, are really nasty.
That's a bummer that you can't bring hex rates because they like predate the Ghost faction. They're like old.
So yeah, here's the thing. And I said we were going to talk more during stream, but we ended up not.
Okay.
Like Nagash is in this book.
Right.
This is in so many ways, and it's the same spell trees, everything.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual successor to the Legions of Nagash book, but it doesn't have everything. It's not like Nagash is like, I don't know, because I guess they're separating them out, because obviously Nighthaunt were separate, but they were already separate. We have the other Mortarks, we have the Bone Daddies, and they were never included under Legions of Nagash. So I just think it was weird that they didn't like explicitly say that this is the direction they're going. Like in this book, it's funny, he does not have the keyword for this army. But they say you can put him in this army, and then he gains the keyword of this army. It's a very strange way of doing it.
Well, I mean, Nagash is the father of death, and he's like a father to many children.
Yeah.
And he'll pretend to be on the team of whatever child he's with at the time.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting. That's the vibe I'm getting here. It's like
That's fair.
like so long as both of his children aren't playing against each other,
Yeah.
he just pretends.
You know my favorite thing about that, you talk about the fact that the hex rates and stuff are all kind of a separate faction. There's the box that I actually got for a lot of this stuff. Like it has the Mortis engine, it has the hex rates, and it has the spirit hosts. It's for a faction that doesn't exist in Sigmar. It's the Sigmar box.
Weird.
The Mortis engine, you cannot play with the hex rates and stuff.
Right.
That seems wrong.
Yeah, it was super weird. But anyways.
I think once upon a time you could.
Yes.
In AOS 1, I'll bet you could just play.
Right. So
Online death.
like look at this. Gorslav the Gravekeeper. This is the cool guy that like doesn't have a face and he's kind of crawling out. Command abilities. Arise. Command ability at the end of your movement phase, pick one of your zombie units that's been destroyed, and you just bring back the unit automatically at half strength within 9.
Wow.
That's
cool.
amazing.
Every turn.
Every turn. So if you're wanting to run zombies, like there's some really cool combinations in there. So I'm looking for these like little support characters. I think again this game we saw where I should have just leaned into like the zombie dragon, put all the buffs on him, throw him in there. You know, you probably wouldn't have gotten through him at that point. So, anyways.
So we have someone in chat saying it's not actually a battalion. It's just you can pay this many points for all of the units from Cursed City. You can just bring them as a block.
Read that?
What?
Yeah, I can do that.
What?
Well, that's why I'm not sitting there. It's actually a lot harder to read from that.
And that's in Cursed City.
Yes.
Because I don't see it here. Well, that sounds cool. I was just talking about a Cursed City character. I think that they have a lot of interesting utility, honestly.
I am opposed, morally,
Oh, I know you are.
to them taking these board games, and giving the models rules
Yeah.
in the, I was going to say big boy games, but that's not really fair. In the larger scale battle games, it never feels right.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Don't like it.
They're being pretty fast about releasing them in like actual kits. Like the Fellbats are already in their own box. It's really expensive, but
I think the Gribblies, like you get 10 of these in the board game, that's fine. Right? Like we made a cool one-off thing, so long as you can buy it in a normal box, it's fine. But when they take named characters from some Splash game, and they're like, all right, cool, he has rules as a named character now. He's either epic and like not correct, doesn't fit in the game, or he's not epic, and it's like, why did you take my epic cool, like I identified with that character, and now he's garbage in this big war game? Why would you do that? Both feel bad.
I understand your pain. Yeah. I guess I'm okay with it. I just more content. I'm willing to take that. But I feel you. If they were designed well, would you be okay with it?
It's tough. I think even like Diet Grek, I think was done pretty well, and it was just like it didn't feel good to take him. It just didn't feel bad to take him. And I don't think that's where anybody wants to be, because you put a lot of time into these board games. If you're playing Cursed City, you're putting in like probably 20 hours.
Yes, you want to be able to use them in your other things.
You're gonna become very attached to your character, and your character's not gonna feel right in the full size
I feel
game.
very attached to my my Blackstone Fortress worms that deep strike for my 40k army, and you can't judge me for playing them.
You're trolling.
You're
trolling real hard.
I would not play those, but yeah. I feel you.
All right. Anyway, moving right along.
We have lots of thoughts, so
We do have lots
we'll
of
keep
thoughts.
going.
Thank you, Thomas. Muchas gracias from Three Amigos. Getting into Sigmar as Iron Jaws as a total newbie. What should I take as my core units, HQs, and elites? What's my general tactic or combos? How would I kit out my boss? 2K equivalent. That's a lot of questions. What do you think?
It's so
Iron
hard.
Jaws.
I'm not up to date on Iron Jaws, partially because I knew in the back of my mind that I needed things that didn't use a bunch of AP.
Yeah.
And also could tank mortal wounds. So I was trying to find stuff that could work against Mel, that could work against Brian. So my Iron Jaws have not been updated since the new battle tome. So I'm severely lacking in knowledge, but I know brutes have always been good, and they are still currently good. So you can't really go wrong with that. And obviously one big boss. I personally like the Maw Crusher boss, just because one, he's cool, and I think he actually gives interesting synergies with the other units, and at least one caster for sure.
Are the Boar Boys good?
I love the Boar Boys. I play them usually. It depends where they are, because when I played them, it was all about the battalion that give you a pre-game move, and it kind of depends if that's still in there. Because other than that, they were less efficient than the brutes, but they had that really great utility, right? So that was kind of the trade-off at the time. But the new book's supposed to be really cool. We'll get around to it maybe this summer.
Alrighty, very cool. Thank you, Joseph. Lucked into 2 Drukhari combat patrol boxes at small miscellaneous hobby shop. I'm a murder elf now.
Yeah, welcome.
I also have Drazar and 5 more incubi. Gonna get witches and more raiders. What else do I need? No rackifiers. Yes, no rackifiers.
More witches.
Don't buy them. By the time you buy them, they won't work.
You're banking hard on that.
I am really solidly in the boat of them getting FAQ'd at some point.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah, that's fair. Definitely more witches then.
Yeah, more witches.
Yeah, more witches, more better. Because you also already have 25 incubi by those 2 boxes and extra 5, which is more than you'll
That's
need.
plenty.
Yeah, honestly.
That's a lot.
So units of at least 3 by 5 witches, more like 25 witches, 30 witches. Mandrakes.
Mandrakes are cool.
Which personally, you've probably seen my mandrakes. They're the thralls from Idoneth. It's funny, we were going back and forth a lot, actually, our paint schemes.
Yeah.
Like my Drukhari and your Idoneth, we were actually trading a lot of ideas on that. So it's funny how similarly they ended. But that's like a cool modern kit that's easier to find, and I don't know if it's cheaper, but it looks good.
I'm going to take a crazy stance. The bomber, my hot take.
Oh yeah,
of the
we've been talking about the bomber.
Once, although I think AdMac throw a wrench in this plan, but once rackifiers go away, I think the bomber is really interesting. It costs a lot.
Yeah.
Which sounds like it shouldn't be a benefit. It's not an upside, but it is, because you can, while we stand it,
Sure.
and it deep strikes, because you're Drukhari,
Yeah.
Screaming Jets it. They still have Screaming Jets, right? I
They
didn't
do,
make that
yeah.
up? Excellent. So you can Screaming Jets it, and then you can fly off the board and bomb in the same turn. So pretty much over half the game, it's not on the table. And you're like, Bridger, why would I want to pay 170 points for a model that's not on the table for half the game? Well, it's because you put it not on the table in the matchups where it dies instantly, like AdMac or AdMac or AdMac or multi-melta attack bikes, but mostly AdMac.
Yeah. Good thing we don't see any melt attack bikes in the meta right now.
But I will say, so it's a
You
bunch of
can
points.
scream at
You always stand it. It's not really worth shooting. You have a lot of very scary things in Drukhari. You have raiders.
Yeah.
You have witches. You have raiders. You have raiders with things in them, right? They
'cause
need to kill your raiders.
The raiders, more than the witches, are the same type of profile that you want that you needed to use against the flyer. Now, I'm skeptical. I'm a critic of your theory, but I see the merit.
It has Void Lances, which means it has Strength 9 Dark Lances. And I think Strength 9 is more important than ever.
But why don't you just take, if you want to do while we stand shenanigans, do like Court of the Archon nonsense. That's a much easier unit to keep alive.
Yeah, but it has different utility. It doesn't have less utility.
Correct,
It just has different utility.
Yeah.
And I like the utility that I get out of a flyer, because armies like Drukhari struggle to interact with flyers, other than rackifiers, which I'm insistent won't be in the game anymore. So it's like, how do you fly a Void Raven bomber into the back line of a Drukhari player? You shoot a raider.
I'm putting 6 Dark
And
Lances
you bomb
in
a
that
raider.
thing, man. You think-
Okay, cool. They didn't put 6 Dark Lances into my raiders, and I also have the board now.
It's true.
So like, what do you do? You shoot your Dark Lances at my raiders that have the board.
I guess I just don't think you have to expose your raiders, though. Like, I'm hidden from you. If the flyer is like, hey, look at that flyer, everyone just turns and shoots the flyer, and I'm still obscured from you. So now
you can
you
be
still have
obscured.
to toe out first.
I'm on the objectives now, though.
Cool.
So I'm winning.
Then you one unit of witches goes and takes the point.
Yeah.
No.
But now I'm ahead in witch count. So I traded
170
bomber.
point for 70 point
yeah,
witches.
but the bomb went off and I killed the
Sounds
raider.
like you guys should play this out on stream.
Oh,
We've
no.
had this
Nobody's gonna play the
discussion
Drukhari
at
mirror.
length already.
The Drukhari mirror
This was a
sucks.
whole lunch like a few days ago.
I think it's a saucy pick.
Yeah. Let us
think
know in
it's
chat what you guys think.
Also, as Kiddo was pointing out, the Court of the Archon is likely to get changed at some point. I don't think that's coming soon,
I don't think that one's coming anytime soon. It's a hipster weird pick.
but I think it should get its points changed because it doesn't feel right.
But it's only going to go up in points.
Yeah, but then you won't take it anymore.
Yeah.
It'll go up enough for it to not be worth taking. Certainly not 2 of.
I don't play it already because I think it's weird.
It's
It's not Drukhari for me. It's not how I want to play them.
I'm gonna say cheesy, but I don't mean cheesy in like you're trying to break the game to win. It's cheesy in that like it's lame.
Yeah, it is lame.
It's such a lame thing to do, but I get it. It's good. I don't fault people for doing it. I just think it's uninteresting.
And just to clarify, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Court of the Archon, of course, is where you can have all the weird kind of support characters for like the Archon in the story.
Right.
It doesn't actually do much to support them in the game, other than they have bodyguard rule. And the Court of the Archon that we're talking about is a bunch of Sliths and a bunch of Urguls.
Yeah.
And you have a bunch of cheap bodies with a bunch of attacks, and they have feel no pains. So they're overly cheap right now.
They have feel no pain, invuln, way too many wounds. They're really cheap and they have a lot of attacks.
Yeah. So it's kind of a thing that's floating around right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Anyway, enough about Drukhari. This is not a Drukhari stream. Thank you,
Every stream is.
Omnisci Sphinx. When it comes to paintbrushes, who do you go for?
Oh, that's hard. Broken Toad is really amazing if you want high-end stuff. Honestly, Games Workshop's not bad.
Broken Toad only if you can properly take care of your brushes.
Yeah.
I cannot. I can't
You're
do
not allowed
it.
to Broken Toad.
There are brushes that I'm not allowed to touch in our household because
Wow.
I am a 5-year-old.
Now, if you saw those rhino brushes we used yesterday, that's
The
the kind of
rhino hair
brushes
brushes?
Mel gets.
Yeah.
Those are
He
mine.
destroys them.
I
There's
Yeah.
assumptions that I make about how people know how to treat a brush, and they're just not true with you.
I don't. Don't worry, Mel. I don't.
I just know thyself. Know thyself. I'm not going to buy Broken Toad brushes
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I paint hard. I paint aggressively. I leave them in water. I put way too much paint on my brush.
Leave them in paint.
I
I
leave
was like,
them
are
in
you
paint.
gonna? You're like, oh, I'm just getting my coffee, but there's paint on the. Yeah, I'm waiting for the layer, but there's paint on the brush still.
No, and so like if you're gonna get like really nice brushes, you need to be the type of person that will keep them
Yeah.
really nice. Because if not,
Agreed.
it's not worth it.
Yeah.
But I think Citadel brushes are great.
Yeah, it's not a cop-out answer. I really think that they're good price to quality ratio. And if you're wanting to go fancy, you could do Broken Toad.
Have you ever used a triangle handle brush? Do you have opinions on the triangle handle brushes?
Like, is the
The
like
handle is a triangle. It's like a.
like a
I-
big
you can-
triangle?
No, it's like the instead of a
Oh,
my
yeah.
makeup
Instead of a-
brushes are triangle.
Instead of like a pencil, which is a circle,
Right.
it makes a triangle.
I haven't tried that. That sounds like the old pencil grips that people would try to get me used in elementary school.
Kind of, yeah. But there's some like pretty cheap, decent brushes like that.
Huh.
I have enjoyed them. Although I am like Mel, I do not take care of brushes.
But yeah,
I destroy them.
but that's good to know, right? Because
yeah, that's
know thyself and
Yeah,
know
I make
the tool that works for you.
I make my brush decisions based off of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Adrian hides brushes from me.
Sometimes, yeah. Or I just accept it as a loss. You know, it's like, yep, had a good run, brush. That was a $60 brush.
Oh no! Oh
Ever
no!
destroy-
No, not
Oh, okay.
$60, but
like-
yeah.
No, I'm like, yeah, you are allowed to get new brushes whenever you need, my love.
Alrighty, thank you, Double Dash. I did see you in the chat asking if we're only reading $5 questions.
$7,
Yeah, I'm pretty lenient.
If we're only reading $5 questions,
Sorry,
Yeah.
$7. Sorry, $7. If we're only reading $7 questions.
it should be $7, but we know that people are adjusting.
Yeah. So what up, Double Dash? Ahoy Titans. Sorry for off topic. Hoped Adrian could expand on advice from previous Q&A, how to force opponent to target only one Harlequin unit and protect fusion boats.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's about a couple things. One, we talked about this concept called the swirl, right?
Swirl.
You're pushing up on one flank, kind of letting them come up on one. Very, very powerful for Harlequins because you can kind of hang back and say, okay, if you're going to actually, it's actually hard to remove you off the point with shooting because you can be partially obscured, you can have -1 whatever, and then it's also hard for them to charge because you're just pulling back to the very tippy tip of the objective, and then you push over this way. And it gets tougher when you have 3 units of jet bikes that you need to protect, but 2 units, as I mentioned, it is very possible where you can have like one that gets the 3 up in Vuln, that gets the buffs, gets up there in front. The other one, it sees, but you also know, so you move in position, knowing that you're going to fire and fade them, which means you know you have a 7-inch move that takes you behind obscuring terrain. And so often you can be doing that if you're pushing up a flank. If you're trying to like go in the middle or trying to spread out, it doesn't work. You have to push a flank, a part of the battlefield, and use that terrain to your advantage. And the fusion boats is kind of the same thing. Like you're looking for the angles where you can come in on the side of something. If you're coming down the middle, there's way more opportunities for them to surround you, come around somewhere else, get a weird angle. So you really want to limit those options and look for those. You notice I actually push my fusions a lot to the side because it's so much harder for people to get those angles. And it's just a lot of practice around those things. Yeah.
Well put.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melody. Please take this super chat to design the whale general with model and rules for Deepkin. I want it all. Hashtag whale representation.
Yes.
Whale representation.
Yes.
We need more
Yes.
whales in games.
Yes, yes, yes.
That would be amazing.
All I want is just this like, like
Whale general. Does he have an admiral's hat too?
No, it's just like, and yeah, like one of his like things should be the whale sound. And could you imagine, the
be
metallic
amazing.
ombre on a whale with a little gray
It could be
belly?
like an under howdah. It's like a howdah that hangs under him.
Oh, like a little. Can
pretty cool.
anyone 3D print a whale?
Oh, I'm sure somebody in our
Someone
community
please
have the
3D
technology.
can
print
design
it.
and print a whale.
A whale.
I want a whale in my. Oh, could you imagine?
Whale
This
general.
reminds me. Oh, college. The whale sounds.
You're going to have to contextualize that.
So in college.
Not related to the earlier story.
No, it's not related to the earlier.
So let me get this straight. You were both asleep and then whale noises?
We were in 6th college at UCSD, and we all took these classes, and some of us took the unfortunate class of writing with sound, but the person was.
So it was the college, the freshman introduction series to writing and sharing information, and it was a series of classes, but in each kind of section of each semester there was different professors doing different versions.
Yeah.
So if you were smart like me, you took the one that was all about like it was like race and injustice and comic books, and you're like, cool, we're gonna do comic. We literally like talk about comic books, write about comic books. And if you were Mel, you took the sound one.
Wow.
I was really fascinated on like how we write and describe sound. No. That's not what we had to memorize sound. So our midterm was to through sound identify whale, bird, and Chinese opera sounds. And so our whole dorm was trying to memorize these sounds. Yes.
Flag on the play. Whoa. That grouping of 3 things. Those were 3 very different things.
Yes, because it was like, and I don't understand how this had anything to do, because it wasn't like I was like, this is how I describe like a morning loon, which I can still identify,
right.
or like this is a humpback whale and this is a humpback whale when they're mating, because that was, so our whole dorm was the sound of just stress and awful noises.
You knew the poor souls that took this class because they'd be like, is that a double-breasted finch? No, I think it's a. I'm like, oh my god.
So
Anyway,
we
my
were
comic
going and
book's over
saying,
here.
so I, for like all of college, could identify most whale noises. And so back to, please send me a whale for my Idoneth army. We can make up rules. I'll play it. I'm ready.
Well, General, for sure. There you go. You heard it here first.
All right.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad you asked?
Yeah, I am glad. That was a good story. Especially the part where you were both asleep.
Yeah.
That was a good part.
Also related to whale noises, I think.
Yeah, we fall asleep to whale noises.
Yeah.
Alrighty, thank you, Luis. Evening, guys and ladies. Always a pleasure to watch you play. Quick question, reroll a hit roll of 1 versus reroll 1 hit. Is there a difference? Yes.
Yeah, totally. Reroll 1 hit, which means you could reroll any hit.
Could be a 6.
Could be a 6.
Could be a 2.
More likely it's something that's like a 5 that's a hit and you want
Could be a
something
3.
to trigger on a 6. Could be anything, and it's a single one. Mm-hmm. Reroll a 1 or 1.
Well, okay, so
There's 2 differentiations happening
The
here.
reason this is confusing is that GW changed the templating of their rerolls. It used to be you would reroll all hit rolls of 1
Yeah.
on attacks from a unit,
Right.
right? there's no ambiguity there. Everybody knows what that means.
Yeah.
Then they switch to when a model from this unit makes an attack, re-roll a hit roll of 1.
Correct.
And you might think to yourself, that means you can only re-roll a single 1. If you roll 5 1s, you can only re-roll one of them. You would be incorrect, because each time you make an attack, which is 1 die, you re-roll a hit roll of 1.
Cheeky.
Why did they make this change? I don't know. They had some legal writer that was like, well, actually,
Technically.
this would be better written in a more confusing way. Anyway, there is a difference,
Yeah.
and that's what it is.
Don't go to wall
We're getting
school.
some whale emojis in chat.
There's whale emojis.
That's
Yes!
There are.
I just want to I'm like queen of the eels with my whale mount.
You've moved on to wheels now.
I've moved on to whales.
Graduated.
I've graduated to
Exactly.
whales.
But yeah, I know it's really confusing and weird. So hopefully that helps clarify the re-rolling thing.
I don't get it.
Like you
They should've
said,
left
it's like more technically correct, which like who cares? Like
Yeah, I don't know.
it's way more confusing.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks again, Luis. One more 40k. Strats or psychic powers give +1 to save. Do they affect invulnerable saves as well? Depends on the wording.
So okay.
If it's +1 to your save characteristic,
correct.
that is your armor save.
Yes.
Because the save characteristic is only for armor saves.
Yep.
If it is +1 to the result of a saving throw,
Or save
roll.
roll.
then it can affect your invuln. This is incredibly rare in the game now.
Yeah. It is.
This is like, do Grey Knights still have Heed the Prognosticars? I think that works.
I think so. Yeah.
So Heed the Prognosticars gives +1 to your roll,
Yeah.
which is why it works on invulns.
Yeah. The Imperial Fists +1
Yep.
save.
Mhm.
They had to FAQ to say that it does not work on invulns. Curse them. Yeah. But normally, if it's save characteristic, that is literally you have your stat line, strength, weapon skill, blah blah blah, and it's save. That's just your armor, and the invuln is actually separate. That's why it's an ability. It's not part of that characteristic. Yeah. Good question though.
Another good question. Thank you, Orc. Goodwa Titans. First question to Mel, will you be adding the Warsong Revenant to your Sylvaneth, and how will you keep Adrian away from it? Adrian, how will you use this model for conversions?
Is this the flute boy?
This is
Is
yeah.
the new one?
This
Oh my God.
I am so excited, and what I'm hoping is that now my Idoneth army is pretty much painted. Now
Converting as a demon prince, and everything's an archon. Okay. I think it's pretty big scale, but I'm not sure. So cool. So cool.
Very cool.
What's up?
The problem with your strategy there, Mel, is that it assumes that Adrian's hunger for bits can be sated, and that leaving him some bits as a treat will mean he won't go for more, and I'm not convinced that's true.
I'm the great devourer, and I'm not proud of it.
I think he'll just keep
oh,
going.
you are like the dumpster fire of bits. Like
I got
our
good-
friends, just like here you go, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what? This is trash. This is trash. And Adrian's like,
Like, are you gonna use that? Nick brought me over the other day. He brings me the weirdest stuff, like just a baggie of metal multi-melta and missile launchers for Space Marines, and it's like literal trash. I'm like, yes.
All right, I'm gonna. Yeah, okay. All right, chat. You need to refresh chat. Chat. I need to type
Yeah.
in chat to tell chat to please refresh chat.
Refresh.
Please refresh.
Refresh.
Refresh. Chat. Please, Areno. Okay. We did have a brief outage there, but I'm a professional. I handled it.
Oh, okay. I thought you just said please Reno without the please refresh chat.
please, Arena.
Please
That'd be
Reno.
pretty good though.
Please the Roni.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Chris. Hey guys and girl, love your content. As an old 40k and fantasy player, what recommendations do you have for someone coming back to both games? As reference, I left basically when 5th ed came out for 40k.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. So much has changed. Good reference points. So for Sigmar, I will stick with my earlier answer, which is actually the Games Workshop Becca Scott videos are actually really, really helpful for just getting the gist of how it works. The 40k ones are kind of dry, to be honest.
Oh, okay. Shots fired.
I mean, they're okay.
We're
but,
sorry,
like,
Becca.
You know, we have like our friends at Play On that did a pretty good one where they walk you through a game. No, she didn't do the 40k one, I think. I think that was in-house completely by GW. Sorry, James.
Not sorry.
Not sorry. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have resources for getting started on these games?
I'm so far into all the games I play, and I binge. Like, when I get into something, I binge really hard until I understand it. And so people ask me like, how do you learn to play 40K? How do you learn to play Magic? Like, and I can't actually find great content that's like how to, because none of this content's evergreen. All these games keep changing. So you'll like make a how to, and then literally a year later, it's not worth anything.
It's so hard, and you have to make decisions on how to, like, what you actually include in it. And this is something that you're going to see even when we do our how to play. Like, we can't cover everything. So it's like, what's important? And it's funny, like, we've studied almost all of them out there on the internet as far as current Warhammer, and it's like, yeah, that's interesting. They chose to not say this thing, and I understand why. Or these guys said this thing.
It's so much information.
I will say, because it's so much information, when you do get started, you don't have to start with everything. Don't do fancy terrain or anything. Like, half the time we simplify even our Sigmar terrain because we have so many things and we want to make sure, we'd rather make sure the rest of the game is played correctly before adding more layers to it, right? And then, so you can do the same thing, simplify the missions, or do, you can play with, one thing we've talked about before is like, don't have a super diverse army. You can be like, here's, if you're playing Space Marines, have multiple of the same kinds of squads. Like, here's my 3 big intercessor squads, and while it might be less interesting, it's going to help you get started and have less to it's going to be less of this mountain to climb.
I have 2 thoughts.
Yeah, let's hear it.
One, I think escalation leagues are the best.
Yeah.
Right? This idea that you start with points and everyone's on the same playing field, right?
Yeah.
And so even if it's just you and a friend or you yourself, and like be like, I'm going to understand this 300 points first.
Right.
And the second thing is I would pick AOS or 40K.
Yeah,
Trying
don't try
to do both at the same time, there's too much overlapping.
When you're getting started.
When you're getting started, right? Just pick one, pick whatever models. I don't think, my argument is armies are going to change so much over time. Pick the one that calls to you.
Yeah.
Go for it. They're all getting more and more confusing. Start an escalation league. Understand one unit at a time. And for me, sticky note everywhere in your book.
Totally.
Right? So I like making notes and stuff, and I think that would be the way I would get into it.
Yeah.
You did something today that we do a lot for our shows is when we get a new book especially is you started writing out notes for yourself, and you didn't even end up using them that often, but the process of writing them out. And we'll
helps
do that.
a lot.
Yeah, we
like
go through the
telling
codex
it's
and
like
we're
what I tell my
like, this
students.
thing does this thing and this thing, and you're like, even if you don't use those at all, just putting that down totally helps translate.
Every game, I write out what strats I think I might use, and I almost never look at that list, but it's like, just writing the list helped me remember, like, okay, I can do these things, and this is how much it costs.
Yep.
There you go. Thank you, Ernie.
What's up, Bernie?
That's a pretty sweet purple shirt you got there, bud. What do you guys think about the Thousand Suns preview?
I think it's awesome. So we saw today Grey Knights and Thousand Suns coming on out.
You guys are going to be so busy.
We're gonna be
when
very
are they
busy.
going to like chill out?
I think
We're probably
chilling
the
out.
only people in the world that are like, please chill, G-dubs.
I know.
Everybody else is like, no, more
Please
codexes
no.
right now. My book's not out right now. Come on.
It's a
And we're
hot
just
model
like-
summer.
It
We're
is
just
a hot
like,
model summer, for sure.
oh,
It's so much.
it never stops.
I know.
Isn't
I know.
there an AOS release too? A new edition?
So the new edition is coming out, I guess, soon. So there's like that. There's they showed us the Orc book. They showed us the Sisters book. We've now seen Grey Knights and Thousand Suns, which up until now it was like maybe it's just the box set, but nope. They're like, no, it's the Codex, and it's gonna be pretty soon. I'm excited, but I'm already tired in advance.
Yeah.
Hot model summer.
Yeah.
We're going to have you working hard on building and painting models.
Honestly.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
We need to, like, we have the Thousand Suns models, but they're not built or painted.
They're nowhere close.
And people have been asking us a lot. They're like, oh, I thought you guys were going to finish that Thousand Suns army.
Yeah.
When are we getting that Thousand Suns army?
They'll be ready for the Codex.
I hope so.
They will.
There's so much going on. I just want to take a nap. I want to take a 40K nap.
Yeah.
Where like 40K doesn't keep moving without me. Because I know it will. If I take a 40K nap, I'll wake up and it'll be 12th edition.
Yeah,
it'll be like, what's going on here?
It's so fast. We had a few quiet weeks, right? You can look at the channel, the videos that we released, and it was like we did the hobby videos, we did the army showcases, and it was a couple weeks. And we're like, okay. And then it was just like, boom, here we are, right back to it. We released like 5 videos last week, probably doing like 6 videos this week. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Woof. But it's nice.
It's exciting. It's exhilarating. Takes a lot of energy. But
Yeah.
we have that, like, it gives us energy, and then it takes it on the, like, on one hand, we're like, oh, yeah. And then on the other hand, we sleep well at night.
Yeah.
No, he sings. He's not sleeping well yet.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not sleeping well?
French
The sea shanties aren't doing it for you?
Yeah. There's literally not enough hours in the day to do everything I need to get done. You got a taste of that last night
So
because we had to
great.
finish your armory, and you're just like, how do you do this every day? I'm like, I know, man.
Nothing makes you not want to paint than like your husband being like, "You want to paint?
Yeah.
You got to get on my channel." I'm like,
It's the usual thing. You're like, I don't want to work. All right, I'm gonna take a break and do my own stuff. But it's like the same thing, but it's your own stuff, right? Yeah. Anyways.
Alrighty, I think this is the last one for the night. Thank you again, Ernie. Oops. Sorry, you can answer that question for a 40K day. Totally forgot you guys played Sigmar. Don't worry, Ernie.
It's all good, man. It's all the same.
Hey, Ernie, watch your training videos, your safety training.
Stay safe, Ernie.
And
Yeah, this is Ernie.
"Oh no!"
only listen to us while operating forklift. Don't watch. Treat us like a podcast.
I think our voices would be quite distracting.
But like sometimes we make like loud, high-pitched noises, and like, what if he's just like?
You especially today.
I know.
I don't know, man. There was a time where you were making a noise, Adrian.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. I was freaked out, and chat was freaked out. Nobody understood where the noise was coming from.
No, that was Mel.
That was Mel?
The whole time. That was
I
Mel.
thought that was
She
you.
did a noise.
I thought that was an
What
Adrian
noise did I make?
It was like. I think you glitched out for a second at the reset
I was
button.
freaked out. I didn't know. I
Was this
thought
before or
like,
after she discovered the fuzz under the dice box? It was
I
like, it's fuzzy down here.
I thought
So
equipment
glad we
was
could have you
failing.
on.
So I have to say, I used to never make noises, and the problem when you go when you marry someone, two, when you marry someone and go into pandemic together, is
Yeah.
you just start doing what they do. So we were just realized we were just communicating by sounds.
Yeah. Beep, beep, bop, boop, boop, boop. The worst was she was walking the other day. I think I told you about this. This was actually a while ago, but it was a very pandemic moment. And she's doing like this thing, you know? And I was like, that's weird. That's me. Like it's not like I don't think of it as my thing, but she did it and I totally recognized it immediately. She's
That's my
never
thing.
done
You
this.
can't do that. That's
Yeah,
my
and
thing.
I was like, yeah.
The pandemic.
Yeah. So,
All right, one more snuck in.
oh, cool.
Thank you, DA2929MC.
What up?
I think I got all those letters right. Hey Titans, love all your work. Just watched the open war game and loved seeing and hearing more about deployment. Any chance to show deployment more?
Sometimes. That's what I'd say. Like, we worry
So
about
much time.
time. I mean, that's really it. That's all it is. It's time. So we'd have to like specifically be like, this episode we're gonna do this, and these are armies that will play quickly.
Yeah, there's a reason that people time lapse or don't show deployment
Yeah.
in a lot of the other online content. It's because it is interesting to an extent.
And it's interesting to less of you. I am one of you that thinks it's interesting.
Yeah. Oh,
I
But
think it's
we're in
awful.
the minority, truth be told, right?
Yeah.
Now, a video about deployment
Right.
absolutely would
Much
be,
more interesting.
100%. So I think you're much more likely to see that in the future.
All right. Well, that's all the questions. Oh,
Oh,
What's up, Michael?
that's Michael Cody sneaking in. Thanks, Michael. Have a great long weekend.
Yeah. You're going traveling. I'm playing Warhammer and getting my paint commissions done. And you're going to relax.
I'm vegging out.
Wow, this is
I'm
wild.
gonna do nothing.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, watching the GSC do deployment. That's right. We do deployment for GSC. This has been a really fun episode of The Good Talk. Thank you so much for coming on the channel. Hopefully give me a ride home tonight.
I did not have a choice. I was literally told. He's like, "Oh, we scheduled your Idoneth game." No, I was actually messaged in Discord. Someone being like, "I can't wait to see you on the," and I was like,
You found out from someone else? That's
"Yes."
cool.
And I was like, "Wait, what?" They're like, "Yeah, they said you're coming on like this
Oh,
date,"
yeah.
and I was like, "Okay."
Deadlines are good for everyone.
It happened.
And we did the impossible.
Yeah.
We painted the Idoneth.
So as I mentioned before, we have a really exciting game Saturday. I'm going to be playing the new Admech book on release day against the Necrons being played by Bridger with a very, very special model. So you want to tune in to see that if
yeah.
you don't already know what it is. And we have a bunch more content coming out, including stuff covering the new chapter approved books, both the points update, and the new missions will have, we will of course be playing them in games, but also coming out with videos, kind of letting you know what's up, because it's a lot of stuff that's going to really transform the way we play Warhammer 40k. Again, if you did enjoy seeing our Sigmar content, do like, subscribe, let us know. That's really the best way we know to continue to do these kinds of games is if we see a good response for that. So, yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. You all have a good one, and thank you so much. We'll catch you next time on the Tabletop.